What's up, guys? T5 Main Destroyer here, and today I am back on my main channel, and we're gonna talk about Maximum Football 2020. So a lot of reviews come out, right? A lot of reviews come out for this game, day of release, week of release, like literally 2 hours before the game is out. People have reviews up saying, should you buy this game? Should you not buy this game? Me personally, I can't necessarily judge an indie title on the day of release. An indie football title that had maybe the eighth or a fourth of the budget of a AAA sports title on the day of release and give you a legitimate assessment of exactly what you should do and exactly how good the game is. So this is kind of my first review of one of these games, and I guess I'm gonna do the 0 out of 10 thing. I'm gonna factor in things like core gameplay systems, the gameplay itself. We are talking about a football game, so the actual football logic that actually happens in the game, within the gameplay, and then the systems that surround the gameplay, like the College Dynasty, things like customization and things like that. So I'm pretty much going to touch on all those topics. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. So, it might be really, really long, and it might not be really, really long. Like, I'm not entirely sure how long this video is going to be, because I'm going to touch on these topics, and however long it takes me to touch on these topics, that's just how it's going to be. I'm not going to shorten anything. I'm going to say everything that I need to say in the format that I want to say it in, and hopefully it's delivered correctly. It's not super boring, and I'm making a good assessment and something that someone can understand and then take and factor into their decision on whether they're going to buy Maximum Football 2020 or not. So since I already have gameplay up on the screen, we're immediately going to jump into the gameplay conversation. General consensus is in Maximum Football that the gameplay is the weakest point of the game. Things like gameplay and the UI are like kind of the weakest points of this game. I can confirm that the gameplay is not bad. Okay, there are things that happen in this game that a game like Madden you will not get in a game like Madden. And we'll get into that in a minute, but the weakest part of the gameplay in this game is pass defense. It seems like with these updates that have come out, you slowly start to see more and more interceptions, but user interceptions aren't really a thing in this game. You're not going to user a middle linebacker like in Madden and, just be able to user lurk and pick things off. But honestly, that's not really how football plays. A middle linebacker or an outside linebacker has an assignment, and if the ball happens to come towards them and it's catchable for them, that obviously they're gonna try and catch the interception. But the fact that you can just take a middle linebacker in Madden and you can just run one way, wait for another slant to come across, run that way, kind of just zigzag around and try to confuse the opposing team's quarterback into throwing an interception. That's not necessarily what a linebacker does. That's not necessarily real football. So from that sense, you not really being able to user a safety or a linebacker and just run around and pick things off is good from a simulation football stance. But let's say you click on after a ball goes up. If you click on and you try to get that pick, you're not getting it. I don't even want to say you probably won't get it, because I have yet to get it. I usually, if a ball's floated up, I basically just put faith in the corners that I've recruited, the corners that I have put on a team, and the guys that I've put on the field, that they will, have the physical prowess and be good enough to go up and get that ball. But it's also the same thing both ways. Sometimes the receiver can just go up and get the ball, and sometimes it feels a little bit cheesy, but it's just it's little things in the gameplay that that makes it feel not that great. The one thing with the gameplay that does make it feel great is the physics based systems in the game. The game is very much physics based. Things like strength, weight, height, all this matters. You know, when there's a jump ball, I usually like to recruit taller like tight ends and, you know, taller, bigger receivers to be my outside like number 1 and 2 receivers, because I know that going up and getting the ball requires you know, height and strength, and you got to be able to jump. You know, all these things are factored in. There's not just an animation that plays, that factors in some kind of X factor ability that can sway the situation in one way or the other. The game is completely physics based. It's based on the players. It's based on the players' ratings. It's based on the players' size and strength and speed and all those things. Broken tackles. The stronger, bigger players are harder to tackle. So, you know, you want to recruit a 6'1", 230-pound running back. That guy's going to be much harder to tackle than a 5'9", 180-pound running back. Whereas the 180-pound running back might be much faster than the bigger guy. You know, there's a lot of trade-offs and things like that in the game that are very, very, very good for the game. Now, as for the things that do happen in this game that you're just not going to get out of Madden, right? Because obviously that's why you're here. I know I haven't said it, but you're here like I kind of want to play something other than Madden. And honestly, this game and Axis Football are very, very fun games. Like, they are legitimately fun football games. You know, they're not super high quality. They're not, you know, the graphics aren't amazing. The gameplay isn't amazing, but both games have systems in it that make them very fun. But Axis is for a whole nother video. I've been playing Axis, and I'll probably do a review on that as well. But in this video, I'm talking about Maximum. So the number one thing that I love about these indie football games, these physics-based, you know, gameplay systems in the game, the one thing that Madden cannot get right is the pass game, okay? Because when your game is so dependent on animations, it makes it really hard to truly simulate things like the concept of openness. So I want to show you a clip here. In this clip here, the receiver runs a simple post route. Quarterback gets hit as he throws. You know, simple play when you look at it quickly. But when I go to the replay mechanic, okay, you're going to see what happens here. The linebacker jams up the receiver, leading the corner to believe that he's going outside. He cuts back in. He gets a step on the corner, and he's right in the middle of the corner and the safety. Safety can't get up in time, and the corner obviously got a step on him. You know, in Madden, the corner is going to shift over. The animation is going to trigger, or the safety is going to shift over, and the animation is going to trigger. Here, I can drop back, look for bubbles in the defense, and if my quarterback is accurate enough and has a strong enough arm, my quarterback will be able to pick out a bubble in the defense, rocket the ball in right where it needs to be for a great play. Even as he's being hit, this was a great throw by the quarterback. It's a great route by the receiver and a great catch by the receiver. And you're not going to get that play in Madden. And that's a very simple play. You know, this isn't anything crazy. I could have found 10 billion better instances of the concept of openness. But this is a very, very good instance of it here. So, you know, you're not going to get anything like that in Madden. It's just the way that the game is built and the way that the code is written, you just can't really get anything like that in Madden. So passing the ball in this game, to me, is my favorite thing to do. You know, looking for bubbles in the cover 2, looking for bubbles in the cover 3, you know, looking for a man to get a step, you know, looking for one of my receivers to get a step, and then putting the ball right on the money where it needs to be. You know, that, like Madden, you just can't do that. Even when you throw a perfect pass, the AI is horrible in that game. You know, the receivers don't go up to get it. And it might result in an interception because this receiver literally just doesn't try to catch the ball. Even when your receivers do get a step and you lob the ball up and you put it where it needs to be, animation triggers where the corner is basically, you know, behind him trying to defend the pass. He has no business defending this pass. There's no way that he could ever get in the way of this pass. But because your receiver's ratings aren't high enough, or he doesn't have an ability, he'll end up dropping the pass through the animation because he's just not a good enough receiver. It's like, that's not necessarily real football. In the passing game in Maximum Football is definitely very, very much reminiscent of real football in regards of the concept of openness. I think that Madden does that so bad. Like, and listen, I don't hate Madden. This is not a Madden hate video. I just think that Madden can't, like, the concept of openness in Madden is non-existent. A receiver is either wide open or like not open at all. So this results in you not really being able to throw, big time streaks down the field. You're not really being able to take big shots down the field because you're rolling the dice that you get an animation where your receiver catches the ball. It results in you either trying to put the ball on the ground as much as possible, like I do, or you just dinking and dunking, Tom Brady style slants and drag routes. And eventually a good opponent is going to be able to, seek that out and lock that up. Like drag routes and slant routes aren't difficult to stop. It's just the fact that I'm kind of forced to do them because in Madden, there's no true concept of openness. Running the football in Maximum Football is also very interesting. Me personally, I kind of like doing it more with the quarterback. And there is a play editor in this game that basically enables me to definitely play according to my play style, which is very, very, very much appreciated, which I will get into later. It is an amazing feature in this game. But the run game, I want to say the blocking AI, the blocking AI isn't horrible. The blocking AI is actually all right. They block who they need to block most of the time, which is something else that I can't say for Madden. Anything, the graphics in Madden are amazing. The visuals are amazing. The sound design is amazing. The animations are good. The animations in Madden are great. They look great. Everything about the animations in Madden, they look great, but they're too constant and they ruin the integrity of simulation football. That doesn't necessarily make Madden a bad game. It makes it a bad simulation football game, right? Whereas Maximum, yes, you get a lot of just, it's an indie game, so the running the football in this game is very much viable, especially if you design the correct plays. Like passing plays, I don't really like designing pass plays because there's plenty of good pass plays in the game, but if you can set up a scheme out of the best formations, maybe out of the spread, out of the wishbone, formations like that, you can set up some very, very, very interesting run plays. You can set up very simple ones as well that just work. And there is gameplay of that, and I'm going to get to the play editor eventually because it is very, very good. Defensive gameplay is a bit iffy. Like I said, you can't necessarily get user interceptions. There's like one block shed animation. There needs to be more animations for the defensive lineman. As a defensive lineman myself, I play offensive line and I play defensive line. As a defensive lineman myself, there's so many different ways you can get around a defender. You can rip through, you can slap, you can rip through, you can take a step right, take a step left, slap and rip to whichever side. You can do a swim move. You can spin around and hook the offensive lineman with your opposite arm and get through that way. There's so many different ways. You can split double teams. You can get a foot in and basically make yourself skinny to split double teams. There's so many different ways. You can block shed, and this game doesn't really simulate that very well at all. And there's also a lot of different ways that you can defend those things. So maybe those things need to be added. If somebody's swimming you can, if you time it correctly, as soon as the arm goes up, you get right in under the armpit and basically just maul the whoever's swimming you, because at that point they're off balance. There's a lot of different intricacies when it comes to playing offensive and defensive line that definitely are not accounted for in this game. That is something that they do need to work on. And the tackling is fine. Tackling is basically just like any other football game. Tackling is also pretty satisfying sometimes because of the physics-based gameplay. You got a smaller running back or a smaller quarterback. Some of the bigger linemen or linebackers will literally kill these dudes, and their body, like the ragdoll, they'll just like smack the ground. Like big hits are very entertaining. And like I said, interceptions are a bit iffy, but they do happen. Actually, like at a decent rate. So this clip here is 50-50 ball. The corner goes up, gets it, simple interception. You know what I mean? Easy, easy. It happens. It happens quite a bit. It'll happen to you. You know, you can throw interceptions, and the CPU can throw interceptions to you. The interceptions isn't an issue. It's just the fact that you can't really do that yourself. I'm not sure why that is. Like, if you click on and you press triangle to try to catch the ball, it just doesn't work on defense, like, at all. So that's another thing that they're going to have to work on there. So overall, the gameplay, it's not bad, but it's not great either. But what I will tell you is it is fun. I personally have fun playing Maximum Football, right? I have fun playing the game. The game is fun. The physics-based gameplay leads to a lot of like interesting tackles and things going on. The concept of openness is fun. Running the plays that I created is a lot of fun. The play editor is basically Bill Belichick Simulator. I would now like to talk about the play creator because I actually tweeted at Maximum Football. I tweeted at Canuck Play. I basically said that the play creator, the play editor in Maximum Football 2020, to me is the best addition to a football video game in this generation. The play creator adds an entire new dynamic to the customization in the game. You know, you can take teams' playbooks and completely change them and add in new plays, completely make a new playbook from the ground up to fit your play style of your college dynasty team. And you can honestly put legitimate football thought into the plays you create. Like the stuff that's on the screen right now is just this is just simple stuff just for gameplay in the background, but the things you can do with the play creator, I'm telling you, I do it in my Atlanta State Wolfpack Dynasty all the time. The things you can do with the play creator are honestly, like, seriously amazing. Paired with the new and improved defensive AI, being able to manipulate the defense into doing what you want them to do through motions and different formations, and basically trying to play a chess game. Because this, as somebody who has played football their entire life, okay, to me, this is coming from an offensive and a defensive lineman, okay? To me, the game of football is more of a chess game than it is a gladiator sport, okay? There is a lot of intricacies and plenty of things you can do to manipulate your opponents into doing what you want them to do and putting them in the spots you want them to be in so that the players on your team can be as successful as possible. Great coaches know that football is more of a chess game than it is a gladiator sport. Yes, you need athleticism. Yes, you need to be strong. You need to be fast. You need to be tough. But you also need to have mental fortitude. You need to know the sport. And knowing the sport in Maximum Football 2020 is an advantage to you playing the game. You don't need to know a lot of X's and O's to play the game, but it is an advantage. A game like Madden, once again, I don't like crapping on Madden. I enjoy playing Madden. I've played Madden all my life. I love Madden, okay? But Madden is just Madden. You don't need, and there is no use for legitimate football knowledge in Madden. With all that being said, the customization is great. The play editor is great. The gameplay is subpar, but it is fun. The graphics, I personally enjoy the graphics. They're not bad. They're not great. They're very mid-tier. And, the game itself is pretty good. Now, is it worth the $30 price tag that has been put on it? This is the controversial question. This is the question to end all questions for this video. This is the question that everyone sat here for 19 minutes and 47 seconds waiting on. Is Maximum Football 2020 worth $30? Well, this all depends on how you look at it. to me personally, Maximum Football 2020 is worth $30. I have put a lot of time into the game. I have played the game. There's a lot of content to be made with the game. I enjoy the game. On top of all that, I'm supporting an amazing cause. I'm supporting developers that I'm supporting honest developers that want to make a great football game. So, if you ask me, yes, Maximum Football 2020 is worth the $30 if you love football. If you honestly love football. If you're just looking for a fun game to play, but you're not like super into the sport, don't buy this game. Just buy Madden at that point. But if you honestly love football and you like playing football video games and you understand that this game is not going to measure up to the $8 million budget that Madden had. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and I advise you to go out and buy Maximum Football 2020 if you love football games, if you love the sport. It is super fun. It is also the only football game that includes Canadian football rules. So if you're into that, there is Canadian football rules you can play. This is the only way you'll be able to get Canadian football and video games in the same, even thought about in the same sentence, is here in this game. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't know how these people are we're doing reviews like on the day of the release of the game. Like, come on, dude. Why? Come on, man.